Imagine a land where ancient tribal echoes mingle with the whispers of Slavic folklore, where the might of empires intertwines with tales of courage and resilience. Welcome to our journey through time, an exploration of a nation's history from its dawn until today. Our story begins in the heart of Europe, where the Dnieper River flows and the tales of old come alive. It is here that the stage is set for the emergence of one of the most enigmatic nations in European history, Belarus. As we delve into this captivating narrative, we invite you to be not just a listener, but a fellow traveler in time. Hold on tight to your historical curiosity because we're about to embark on a wild ride through centuries. Our destination is none other than the birth of Belarus, a nation that has often played the supporting role in history, but whose own tale is equally compelling. We will take you back to a time when the region was a tapestry woven with threads of intrigue, power struggles, and cultural exchanges. You'll witness how Belarus, like a resilient seedling, took root amidst the chaos and blossomed into a distinct entity. But this is no fairy tale. This is the raw, unfiltered account of a nation forged in the fires of adversity, tempered by the resilience of its people and illuminated by the brilliance of its heritage. So buckle up for this enlightening journey. We begin with a deep dive into the very roots of the Belarusian identity, exploring how the ancient tribes navigated the complexities of their world, laying the groundwork for what would come after. Then we'll navigate the turbulent waters of the 13th century as the Mongol hordes descend upon the region, forever altering the course of local history. Witness the rise and fall of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and the Russian Empire's influence, seeing how they both shaped and were shaped by the land we now call Belarus. But our journey doesn't end there. We'll venture further into the past, unearthing the secrets of the 9th and 10th centuries. And it's here where the story takes a turn. The arrival of the Varangians and the establishment of the Duchy of Rus introduce new dynamics that will reverberate through the ages. As we continue our trek, we'll encounter pivotal moments that have left indelible marks on the Belarusian psyche. The Cossacks' struggle against the Polish nobility, the impact of the Black Sea Fleet's presence, and the profound influence of the Eastern Orthodox Church are just a few of the chapters we'll unfold. Finally, we'll bring our journey up to the modern era, exploring the events that led to the formation of the modern state of Belarus. All the while, we'll be keeping an eye on the lives of ordinary people. How did their daily routines, beliefs, and aspirations shape and respond to these sweeping historical changes? How did they keep their traditions alive through generations? And how did they contribute to the unique cultural mosaic that is Belarus today? It's important to note that this isn't just about memorizing dates and events. It's about understanding the forces that have shaped Belarus into what it is today, about appreciating the challenges its people have overcome and celebrating the richness that their heritage has brought to the world. So join us as we bring history to life, weaving together the stories of great rulers and ordinary people, of battles and treaties, of cultural exchanges and power struggles. This is more than a journey through time. It's an exploration of the soul of a nation. This is the story of Belarus. Are you ready to unravel the mysteries of Belarus's past and discover the secrets that lie hidden within its borders? Let's start our epic journey, a grand adventure that promises to take you back in time and immerse you in the rich history of this enchanting nation. As we traverse through the annals of history, we'll explore the fascinating period when the lands that would become Belarus were inhabited by various Slavic tribes. Life during this era was a blend of tradition and survival. These early inhabitants were not just passive observers of history. They were active participants, shaping their world according to their beliefs and needs. Their days were filled with the rhythm of nature as they cultivated the land, raised their livestock, and traded with neighboring communities. But they were not solely focused on the mundane. They had a deep connection with their surroundings, imbuing rivers, forests, and animals with spiritual significance. Their world was one of myths and legends where the boundaries between the natural and supernatural were blurred. This was a time when the foundations of what would become known as Belarus were being laid, when the seeds of a nation were sown in the fertile soil of the past. The year is 1253, and the Mongol horde, a force that had been sweeping across Asia and Europe, arrives at the doorstep of the lands we today call Belarus. Led by the enigmatic Khan Beta, the Mongols were a formidable force, renowned for their military prowess and their ability to adapt to the diverse terrains and climates. Their empire, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, was a testament to their organizational skills and strategic brilliance, but as they advanced westward, they encountered resistance. The local tribes, although individually powerful, were no match for the Mongol war machine. One by one, they fell before the advancing horde, including the Wallachians and the Radimisian. Yet the tale does not end here, for it was during this tumultuous period that the Grand Duchy of Lithuania emerged as a significant player on the European stage. This budding duchy, initially a small entity, began to expand its influence, driven by the ambitions of its rulers and the opportunities presented by the Mongol incursions. Among its notable leaders was Mindov, who laid the groundwork for the duchy's growth and recognized the strategic importance of the lands we today associate with Belarus. His efforts set in motion a series of events that would profoundly shape the future of Lithuania and the region it now encompassed. Fast forward to the 16th century, and we find ourselves in a Europe that has been irrevocably altered by the influx of wealth from the Americas. This influx, primarily driven by the Spanish and Portuguese, had profound economic and societal repercussions. Among the many changes it brought, one stands out as particularly significant: the introduction of new agricultural practices and products. Crops such as potatoes and maize, initially alien to European soil, began to take root in the lands of Belarus. This wasn't merely a shift in the local diet, it was a transformation of the agricultural landscape. Suddenly, Belarusians had access to more varied and, in some cases, more nutritious food sources. But with change comes adaptation. The traditional agricultural practices had to evolve to accommodate these new crops. Farmers had to learn new techniques, experiment with different planting seasons, and adjust their methods to the demands of these unfamiliar plants. In doing so, they not only diversified their agricultural output, but also introduced a degree of flexibility into their farming practices. Now let's turn our attention to the socio-economic structure of Belarus during this era. The 16th century saw a significant concentration of land ownership in the hands of the nobility. While a sizable portion of the population found itself in serfdom, this stark disparity in land ownership had profound implications for the social fabric of Belarusian society. The nobility, with its control over vast tracts of land, wielded considerable power. It enjoyed significant political influence, shaping local governance and legislation to suit its interests. On the other hand, the majority of the population living in serfdom lacked basic freedoms. Their lives were dictated by the whims of their noble landowners, and they were often subject to harsh working conditions and limited access to resources. This stark contrast in socioeconomic status not only created a rigid hierarchy, but also sowed the seeds of discontent among the serf population. And as the 17th century dawned, the stage was set for a dramatic shift in the political landscape of Belarus. The Cossacks, a group of East Slavic Orthodox Christian people renowned for their horsemanship and military skills, rose in open rebellion against the Polish nobility. This uprising, rooted in the long-standing grievances of the common people, marked a significant departure from the status quo. At the heart of this rebellion was a demand for autonomy and an end to the oppressive rule of the Polish magnates. The Cossacks, traditionally known for their fierce independence, found themselves increasingly subjugated under the Polish nobility's exploitative regime. The situation escalated, leading to full-scale conflict. The rebels, led by charismatic figures like Bogdan Khmelnytsky, launched a series of attacks against the nobility, seizing land and advocating for self-rule. This uprising shook the foundations of the existing power structure, setting in motion a chain of events that would redefine the political boundaries of the region. In the midst of these turbulent times, a new player arrived on the scene, the Russian Empire. Sensing an opportunity to expand its influence, the empire intervened in Belarusian affairs. The arrival of Russian troops, led by Tsar Alexei Mikhailovich, marked a turning point in the conflict. The Russians, though initially perceived as potential allies by some Belarusians, ultimately sought to impose their own rule over the region. This intervention not only put an end to the Cossack uprising, but also initiated a process that would gradually integrate Belarus into the Russian Empire. This integration, however, was far from seamless. The Belarusians, proud of their distinct identity and wary of outside interference, resisted this imposition, setting the stage for a prolonged struggle over control and influence. And as we traverse through the 18th century, the influence of the Black Sea Fleet emerges as a pivotal chapter in Belarusian history. Established by Empress Catherine the Great, the Black Sea Fleet was a powerful maritime force designed to protect and expand Russian interests in the Black Sea region. Its significance in Belarusian history stemmed from its strategic location and its impact on local trade routes. The fleet's naval presence had profound implications for the economic activities along the coast. With the Black Sea Fleet patrolling the waters, trade flourished, connecting Belarus to distant markets and bringing in much-needed revenue. This economic prosperity, however, was not evenly distributed. While some segments of Belarusian society benefited significantly from the increased trade, others, particularly those not engaged in maritime commerce, saw little tangible improvement in their living conditions. This is your host. And if you're enjoying our journey through history, don't forget to subscribe to be notified of our latest episodes. Your support means the world to us. Now let's continue our enlightening journey. The 19th century witnessed a surge in Romanticism across Europe, an intellectual and artistic movement that emphasized emotion, imagination, and a fascination with the past. In Belarus, this movement found fertile ground, leading to a blossoming of literature, music, and art. Writers like Adam Mickiewicz and Julius Slowacki wove tales that celebrated Belarusian heritage and folklore, igniting a sense of national pride among the populace. Meanwhile, composers such as Mikhail Glinka incorporated traditional Belarusian melodies into their works, creating a unique soundscape that was both nostalgic and forward-looking. This romantic revival not only enriched the cultural landscape of Belarus, but also laid the groundwork for a growing sense of national consciousness. And yet, as the 19th century progressed, a darker reality loomed on the horizon. The forced assimilation policies aimed at the Belarusian population threatened to erode their cultural distinctiveness. The suppression of the Belarusian language and the imposition of Russian as the dominant language were particularly detrimental. This linguistic suppression was part of a larger strategy to assimilate Belarusians into Russian culture, weakening their sense of Belarusian identity. The effects of this policy were far-reaching, impacting not only the transmission of language, but also the preservation of unique cultural traditions. But the spirit of Belarusian identity refused to be subdued. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the emergence of a vibrant cultural movement known as the National Renaissance. This movement, with its emphasis on reviving and celebrating Belarusian culture, represented a defiant response to the assimilationist policies of the previous era. Writers like Jan Czecha and Francis Scarina played pivotal roles in this renaissance. producing works that rejuvenated the Belarusian language and promoted a sense of national pride. This cultural revival was not an isolated phenomenon. It coincided with similar movements across Eastern Europe, as nations sought to reclaim their cultural heritage in the face of external pressures. However, as the 20th century dawned, the fate of Belarus took a dramatic turn. The Russian Revolution of 1917 and the subsequent civil war plunged the region into chaos. The traditional social order was shattered, giving way to new ideologies and power struggles. In the midst of this upheaval, the Belarusian question emerged on the international stage. The fledgling Belarusian Soviet Socialist Republic, established in 1919, represented a bold experiment, an attempt to create an independent Belarusian state. This declaration of independence, though short-lived, symbolized the aspirations of the Belarusian people for self-determination. It marked a significant departure from the centuries of external influences that had shaped Belarusian history, opening a new chapter in which Belarusians sought to chart their own path to the future. But as we navigate through the latter half of the 20th century, the story of Belarus takes another dramatic turn. The country finds itself at the heart of the Cold War, caught between the rival superpowers of the United States and the Soviet Union. This geopolitical chess match between two ideologies had profound implications for Belarus. Initially aligned with the Soviet bloc, Belarus became a key player in the Eastern Bloc, a satellite state heavily influenced by Soviet policies. This alignment not only shaped its domestic politics, but also dictated its foreign relations, limiting its ability to pursue independent diplomatic initiatives. Furthermore, Belarus's strategic location served as a buffer zone between the Soviet Union and Europe, making it a crucial piece in a larger geopolitical game. Yet despite these external pressures, the narrative of Belarus is not solely defined by its geopolitical situation. The leadership of figures like Leonid Smirnov and Alexander Lukashenko introduced policies that aim to mold the country's trajectory. Smirnov's focus on heavy industry and collectivization of agriculture, and Lukashenko's promotion of state control and close ties with Russia offer a glimpse into the internal dynamics that have shaped Belarus's development. Additionally, the impact of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in 1986 had lasting consequences for Belarus. The environmental and health implications of this disaster added a layer of complexity to the country's challenges. It is a testament to the resilience of the Belarusian people that they managed to navigate through these turbulent times. As we reflect on this extraordinary journey through the history of Belarus, a tapestry woven with threads of struggle, resilience, and triumph, it's essential to recognize the contributions of those who've shaped this narrative. Each ruler, each event, each cultural figure has played a part in the grand symphony of Belarusian history. But the true essence of this story lies in the everyday lives of the Belarusian people. Their resilience in the face of adversity, their adaptability to changing circumstances, and their unwavering commitment to preserving their cultural heritage are the beating heart of this narrative. From the ancient tribes of the early Slavic period to the challenges of the modern era, the story of Belarus is one of enduring strength and cultural richness. As we bring this journey to a close, let's take a moment to appreciate the depth and complexity of Belarusian history. It's a story that deserves to be told, remembered, and celebrated. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through time. If you've enjoyed learning about Belarus, show your support so we can keep bringing history to life. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of our shared history.